Hi, how's everybody doing tonight? Leave me a comment and let me know who's here. Looks like we got just one so far. Hi, Becky. Hi, Hammy. How you guys doing? You guys crack me up. I'm doing good today. I got some wild hair tonight, but I'm doing good. Maria better be here because she's the one who requested this. She better not be hiding on me. I'll give everyone a few minutes to come in, about 5 after. We'll start doing some serious chit-chatting. Yeah, come on, Maria. Hammy, you better be finding Maria. Oh, phew, Maria, you're here. I was starting to panic. I'm like, if I requested this and if you requested this, I mean, and you don't show up, I'm gonna die of embarrassment. Oh, sorry he woke you up, but glad you're with us. How is the sound coming through? Am I choppy or anything? Hey, Rebecca. Wish you could have been here to stick your face in the snow. Oh, you set an alarm? Oh my goodness, that's awesome. That's dedication, Maria, when you set an alarm to be here. Oh, so we don't have any particular topic tonight. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. If you have nothing to talk about, then I do have a few things I can tell you. Packing now. Where are you headed to? Maria, this is going to be the last water that I need for today. I'll get it finished during this live. Are you seriously packing for Maine? Yes, Becky, let's all tell what's for supper. I had my supper. I had one of those frozen, like a chicken cordon bleu, but the cheese and broccoli one. And I had a leftover baked potato that I warmed up in the microwave and put some butter, sour cream, and chives on it. And then I had a salad with cottage cheese and freeze dried pineapple and a glass of water. Less than half. Yeah, you definitely can get back on track tonight. Surely not today, but one day. Yes, we look forward to that. Becky wants to visit Maine sometime also. Maria made teriyaki chicken stir fry with veggies and brown rice. That sounds good. Did you like the brown rice? It's funny, when I was younger, I didn't like whole wheat pasta all that well. I didn't like brown rice all that well. Now at this age, I would rather have whole wheat pasta and brown rice and a very hearty whole grain bread. And what are you having, Becky? Becky will like beat us all. She'll have like a buffet. Wasn't bad. I could inhale the chicken, is my problem. Oh my goodness. Homemade hamburger helper, green beans, and cornbread. That's one of our favorites around here. So easy, so frugal. Uh, what about you, Rebecca? What are you having tonight? A feast tonight. Yes, yours is always a feast. So, um, oh, chili and cornbread. See, that's one of my favorites too. Very, very yummy. So, the other day, I got my electric bill in the mail, and this electric bill is from December 15th to January 15th is the time that the charges are for, and it's due in February. My electric bill was $400. Now, that does include our hot water and our cooking because our stove is electric. But for $400 a month, you would think I'm using a lot of electricity. I didn't have a Christmas tree. I don't use a clothes dryer. Um, we do not use electric heaters or anything like that. There's absolutely no reason for this. I don't know if they estimated my bill or what is going on, but I will be calling them this week to find out if that is an estimate or what is up with that. That is nuts. I do not want to be having bills like that. Oh, and I wash in cold water too. So, if that continues, you guys will probably see me using candlelight and maybe even getting mad enough that I shut off the main breaker to the house. Um, Becky says, yes, my goal is to come to Maine. I want to with all my heart, and we would love to have you, Becky. Rebecca says, this is horrible. Yes, very. And Maria says, this still has me so stumped. Yeah, it's ridiculous. This has happened in my district before, where it's happened to us before COVID. And everybody at my husband's work had the same exact type of bills as us, and nobody could figure out why. And then I heard, I don't know if it's rumor or not, that a bunch of people threatened to sue them. And then all of a sudden, our electric bills went down and stayed down for years. And now here we go again. There was two charges on there for what they call a stranded cost. And when I looked that up, they said that they are supposed to be improving their power lines and funding green energy and stuff like that, and having projects done by a certain date, in that they are charging their customers for those projects, and that if they're not done by a certain date, they will have to be fined and refund their customers for what they charged them. So that is some of what's going on, but that's not completely what's going on. And I also know that our rates have gone up 80% in the last 2 years, but also my bill was 194 last month. So there's just absolutely no reason to have my bill be more than double this month. Now, my son Jacob did give us 100 towards it because he's super good like that. Um, and I was overpaid on my telephone bill. So my telephone bill, that's like home phone and internet, was 1 cent is what the bill was due for this month. So that completely levels it out as far as our budget, but it just really irritates me because I know we do not have usage like that. I think my son said it best when he said we're over here living like the 1800s and we get a $400 light bill. Uh, Becky says, yes, that's horrible. And yes, check that out. I doubt I'll get anywhere with it, but maybe if they know I'm having a cow about it, they won't repeat it if it's a bogus charge. Maria and I thought they talked about the bills going down. I guess they are fibbing. I think it would be that next bill, probably. Oh, also, that bill includes that power outage week. So you cannot tell me we used double when our power was out for like 3 days on top of it all. I think they just assume people have decked the halls for Christmas and they are estimating people's bills, but whether they'll admit it or not, who knows? Um, Dono says, by the way, hi, Dono. Unfortunately, we have no way out. We're at their mercy, but yeah, there are a couple of things we can do around the house to get a lower bill. Yeah. And I am like so ridiculous on what I do around the house for a lower bill that nobody else would live like I live. That's why it kind of ticks me off so bad. Um, right now tonight, guess where my laundry is? It's strung up by the pellet stove because I don't use the dryer ever unless, we're having company or something and I don't want the laundry in the living room. So, anyways, just very, very irritating. But you wait till I tell you what happened yesterday. And Becky, make sure Johnny's listening and hopefully Zach's listening because this one is a doozy. We got up to my grandmother's an hour and a half away. We picked her up. We picked her friend up. We went to Sunday school and church. When we were leaving Sunday school and church, my husband noticed there was a couple of dots of something red in the snowbank right in front of where we parked. So he got out and he checked it over and he wasn't sure what was dripping because it was coming like from underneath the bumper. So he said, something's dripping. I'm not quite sure yet. He said, let's get these ladies home and I'll take another look at it. So my grandmother said, can you stop at the grocery store and get me milk? So while I was in the grocery store, he was checking it over in the parking lot and he realized it was transmission fluid. That is not what you want to find out when you're an hour and a half away from home. So we got Graham home and she lives in senior housing. So it's not like he wanted to leave it there dripping in the parking lot. And it's not like he could work on it there. To make matters even worse, our pickup doesn't have a way to fill the transmission fluid underneath the hood. You have to crawl up underneath it and fill it up from under the pickup with a transmission fluid pump. So we couldn't add any. And even if we could add any, when we're up there, there is no places that sell that kind of stuff that you can get on a Sunday. So my husband said, we need to leave right now. Luckily, I had Graham's food cooked. She just needed to microwave it. And we need to try to make it for home. He said, and if that transmission fluid empties out before we get home, we're going to lose the transmission. So I said, well, I'm going to pray. And he was watching the transmission temperature, like on the digital readout, the whole trip. So by the grace of God, we made it home. No temperature change, no slipping of the transmission, nothing. So he started researching what it could be, what was going on, and he crawled all the way up underneath it when we got home. It was our transmission line and it's broken. So what he found out is at 100,000 miles on the type of pickup we have, the lines start snapping off. And what usually happens is they break off. All 13 quarts of your fluid comes out in the road before you can get pulled over and you lose your transmission before you can get pulled over. Once again, only by the grace of God was ours just dripping, and did we make that kind of a trip all the way home. So he's like, well, okay, we've got snow, we got cold weather coming, we don't have a garage. He's like, it's not going to be very much fun laying out in the snowbank doing this job, but I'll do it. this coming weekend because we don't need to go to Graham. She's going to go to my parents' house. Then he starts looking into what it requires to do this job. On our pickup, you have to drop the front axle to change the transmission fluid line. And he is like, "You have got to be kidding me. I'm going to lay out in a snowbank and I'm going to drop the front axle out of the pickup and start changing these lines." And so he decided while he does it, he might as well change the transmission cooler and he might as well change the filter and change all fluid in it, whatever's left in there, drain it out and change it. So he calls to order the parts today. $800. $800, and he just needed to buy a new battery for the pickup at the beginning of the month. That is $1,000 in pickup breakdowns this month, and that's with us doing the work. Can you imagine what this would cost? So I said to him, "I don't expect you to lay in the snowbank alone. If you need me, I'll be right there next to you in the snowbank. Let's just get this done." So we are going to try to crank it out next weekend. We can't leave at all with the pickup to even go get the parts. So Jacob's going to take me out Friday morning to get the parts while Corey starts tearing it down. And then we're going to try to get this job done so that the following weekend we can start traveling back up with my grandmother. And it's like, okay, in those situations, you can get very upset fast. That's why we have an emergency fund. Yes, I'll have to pay it back to my savings, but you can pay it back to your savings a lot faster if you haven't had to put it on a credit card or something like that. And it won't be pleasant. If this had happened a week ago, it would have been warm and we wouldn't have had any snow. But one thing I've learned is God gives us wisdom. He gives us ability. We'll get it done. We own the pickup. And, that would be like 2 pickup payments if we didn't. So we'll just bite the bullet and do it. But I must say, I actually didn't get wound up. He was getting a little bit wound up, but I actually didn't get wound up. But I have to laugh because the last time when I had an actual transmission problem, it was $800 and it happened while I was up there. And I'm like, Satan has no new tricks. He just repeats the same crap on repeat. Let me see. I got a lot of comments here. Let me back them up and see what you guys are saying. Becky says, "Yep, you all live almost off grid." Yeah, and I could live off grid. If it gets bad enough, I will. Maria, your bill should be like $20. You do so good. I even used my dryer and it wasn't that much. I know it makes no sense. And I don't really have any heavy draws in the house either. And I know it's not the water heater because that's fairly new. And during the power outage over 3 days, when Corey hooked the generator up to the water pump, the water coming in was warm. It held that long in the water heater. So I know it's not that. Maria, jaw on the floor. Rebecca, my goodness. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's good to be with him outside so you can hand him some tools and won't have to crawl in and out. Yes, exactly. Make sure he's okay too. He doesn't get stuck under there or something. Oh my goodness, it's always something. Always something. He said, "Oh, we were going to have the weekend off and I thought it was going to be relaxing." And I just was like, "You should have known it wasn't going to be relaxing. You should have known it was going to be something that was going to require your attention if you had the weekend off." The only other thing I could think of, they say if an appliance is going to, it can spike the bill. Any chance that could be happening? Well, my refrigerator is 20 years old, but I don't think it's going. It works perfectly. It's not like running all the time or anything. I hear it when it turns on and off. So I don't think so. And my washer's new. My uh, stove is new. Could it possibly be your stove that is using too much electricity? No, I don't think so. And also, I have like a toaster oven that I use most of the time if, stuff will fit in there versus the big oven. Oh, sorry, I can't make a sentence. I can't speak a sentence. So surely it's a mistake. Yeah, no doubt. But I guarantee they stick me with the bill either way. So we'll find out. So at church yesterday, there's a lady there. Her name is Melanie, too. And it's funny because I've known most of the people at church since I was a little kid. And then some people moved in from away to the area, but I've known them for like 10 years or something. But this lady is fairly new, and she slipped into the church in between the time that my son was doing internship there, and then now me being back there to take my grandmother. And so she's always saying to me, like, I can't believe we have the same name, and you make me the wrong Melanie, because when people say Melanie, they're talking about you, not me. And we're always laughing. Well, her and her sister made me this yesterday and gave it to me at church. It's got a little tea light in there that lights up if I could turn it on. There we go. Isn't that adorable? I need to figure out what I want to do for her and her little sister for next time when I go. It just touched me so much that they thought of me, and it's just beautiful. Yeah, the colors look like you, Maria, with the purple and stuff. I don't know. I thought maybe I should make them homemade candy bars. Maybe I should just get them Lindor truffles. Maybe I should bake them cookies. Big shocker there. I don't know what to do for them. How's Sloopy doing? Well, before the live, she had her ears completely covered in all kinds of food. She's been eating everything under the sun today. And I had to make her sit down while I scrubbed her ears with a hot soapy washcloth. And she's been barking at everything and still upset with me for leaving her yesterday. Yes, my water heater's electric, but it shouldn't spike like that. Oh, yeah, I could keep the breaker off until I need it for baths. Give that a try. I think we have it on a separate thing so that we can do that. Yes, a cheesecake. Maria made a cheesecake last night, and it was the baked kind, and I was jealous. I've only made a baked cheesecake maybe twice in my life. I always make like a no-bake one, and I'll be doing that on the channel soon, my family's recipe for the no-bake kind, because I think I'm gonna make it for the church Valentine's Day party. I think they would enjoy that. You think cookies, Becky? Fresh sourdough bread. Yeah, I made bread over the weekend. I could gift them bread. Maybe I'll gift them cookies and bread. Those are some great ideas. I have never made homemade apple cider vinegar, I have always wanted to do that, but I don't know how to do that. Don't know. Do you have a video on it? Or if you don't, can you make a video on it? Oh, the blueberry ones. Yeah, those are good too. Yeah. Yep. I haven't been watching Titus. I don't know what he's been up to at all. I haven't been watching anybody. I apologize, guys. Oh, Monday and Tuesday, I try to hurry around the house and get stuff done. Then Wednesday, I study for testimony Thursday. Thursday, I have testimony Thursday and Marissa until late in the evening. By Friday, my husband and son are off. And then Saturday, I am doing stuff here and cooking for my grandmother. And then Sunday, we're gone all day up there. I mean, my weeks are just going like this. If I sit down to watch TV, I fall asleep immediately. And I feel so bad that I'm not getting anybody's videos watched. Okay, that would be a good video idea. The apple cider vinegar, I agree. That would be awesome. Thank you. Definitely. I can't wait to see that. I'll be watching for it. If I don't notice it, let me know you have it up. Okay. Well, I will definitely give that a try. Um, with the guys on the night shift, I'm trying to think when we would want to have it on and off. I'll have to mention that to my husband and think about that because when they come in, they're going to need to shower immediately. They're usually covered in hydraulic oil and goodness knows what. And I do my housework in the evening, the bulk of it while they're gone. So even like during the day, if I want to wash dishes, I could heat the water on the stove if the water heater was shut off. And that's probably the best idea because even if that bill is a mistake and my bill was 190 last month, I probably could drop it down a whole 100 a month by doing that. Thank you for that suggestion. That's an awesome one. When I get still, I sleep. Coffee is my friend. Did you guys see? I know Dono and Rebecca did, but Becky, Hammy, and Maria, did you guys see me stick my face in the snow today to meet Hippie Chicks challenge? Because I got to tell you, Becky, that woke me up more than 10 pots of coffee would have woke me up. If you need to get woke up fast, of course, in Kentucky, you don't always have snow, but I'm going to remember that I can stick my head in a snowbank if I'm feeling tired. Uh, I wish I liked coffee. No, you don't. I am a coffee fanatic. And, well, now I'm making myself cut back on the coffee and drink water. It takes some getting used to. Yes, I'm sure we'll adjust to it fine once we figure out exactly what time of day we want to turn it on. We're all about saving every dollar we can save. And I don't know if I'm subscribed to you either. I have to check because I sometimes forget you have a channel. So everybody subscribe to Dono after this live if you haven't already, or check and make sure you have. It made your day. uh, yeah, coffee can be kind of expensive. I thermos it up and drink it until it's gone. I'm not one to dump it down the drain to make a fresh pot. If it's 3 days until I finish it, so be it. It's in a thermos, so it stays fresh. Becky, you crack me up. If Italian 2 needs help with pickup or a warm place, tell him to call Canned Ham. Okay, will do. My father, offered to come over and tow it over to his house so they could get it in the garage, and Corey said, um, he's just going to do it right where it sets. You guys are awesome. Okay, enjoy your supper. I like to put avocado and sour cream in my chili. Well, guys, I don't have anything else to tell you. Maria wanted me to come on and chat, but I'm not chatty. Even with all that going on in my life, I've told it all in 30 minutes. And I don't have Marissa here tonight to just leave the room and leave her to talk. Yes, Zach, we know. We love you, and we know you have our back in all things, and we have yours too. Peanut butter in mine, Becky. I thought you were nuts until I tried that. I'm thinking, how can anybody put peanut butter in chili? Like, no way. And it's good. Like, I don't know as if I like it better than avocado and sour cream, but it's good. It tames it down like the sour cream does. Um, and I'd bring another carrot cake. Your carrot cake is very good. They love it at the church too. You agree with Becky that you like peanut butter in your chili? Or, oh, okay, just tell us your love story with Corey. Okay. I'm so glad I saw that comment. I thought Maria was saying she agreed with Becky about peanut butter and chili. Oh my word. Well, what I love about the peanut butter in chili is, you can whip up a chili just out of stuff in your pantry. You don't always have to have the hamburger in there. And sour cream is something you might not always have on hand. So if the peanut butter kind of cuts that spice and tomato a little bit, it's very frugal and it is good, you guys. Seriously, you have got to put a spoonful of peanut butter in your chili at least one time or you've never lived. Okay, my love story with Corey. Oh, well, first, confession time. I was married once before, right out of high school, and it was an absolute disaster. Corey moved in with a woman shortly after high school, and it was an absolute disaster. Corey said he would never, ever get married. That's how much of a disaster it was. And I said I would never, ever, ever marry again. And it was in 2001 that we met. And we actually met through main chat. I don't know if any of you guys remember back in that time period how there was the chat rooms and you'd go in by your state and you just talk to people about everything, kind of like we do on the lives, like talk about the weather, talk about whatever. And like the internet was fairly new to me and fairly new to Corey. So when I got on main chat, I just said where I was at, which town, and Corey started talking to me. He said, "Oh my gosh, my mother is in that town. Do you know my mother?" And I said, "No, we just moved here. Dad worked for the railroad and they had transferred his job." I said, "I don't know anybody." And he's like, "Well, let me tell you." And he just started talking to me like nonstop all night in the main chat. Well, I had so much fun talking to him as a friend. I said, "Why don't you add me to your MSN Messenger?" So he did. And I worked at the nursing home on the 3 to 11 shift as a CNA, and he worked the day shift as a truck driver. So he said, when you get out of work at night, there used to be like a dinger or something where you could ding the person on MSN and tell them you want to talk. He said, well, just ding me and we'll chat. So we did that for quite a while. I'm not sure how many months. And he would go to bed. And when he heard me ding, he would get up to talk to me since we were on kind of opposite schedules and we talked all the time. And then finally, after months and months of that, I said, I need to go to one town over from him and do some shopping. I said, I'm out of laundry detergent, fabric softener, that kind of stuff. And he met me at the store and we went in and I got what I needed. And he said, hey, my four-wheeler's on the back of my pickup. Would you like to take a little ride with me? Well, I couldn't resist that. So we went for a four-wheeler ride, and then I went home and I didn't know if I would see him again or not, if I would want to, because I really didn't want to date anybody. I really didn't want to get married again. It was such a bad experience. And we ended up talking more on the messenger, went out 2 more times. Then everybody guilted me about divorcing my ex-husband, and I started feeling like maybe I didn't give it enough of a try. So I told Corey I was going back to him and I was going to try it again. And Corey said, well, do what you need to do. I'll be here if you want to see me. So I went back to my ex-husband for less than a month and I was very miserable. Nothing was any better for me, and I just didn't want to be there. So I told Corey I was going to rent an apartment, which I had never done. I either was with my ex or I was with my parents. I said, I'm going to rent my own apartment and I just need some time, some space, because I really don't want to be in a serious relationship or end up married again. And but I started dating Corey regular. He kind of won me over. Like he would show up at my apartment and like move my car for the plowman or repair my car when it broke down. And he just like was not taking no for an answer. And when we started dating steady like that, we got married in 3 months. 3 months. Like best man I've ever met. I cannot imagine if God had not given him to me. You guys, I'm going to start crying, seriously. Um, I don't know where I'd be today. He makes me a better person and just so, so thankful for him. What a Dono says, wow, what a beautiful story. God works in mysterious ways. We just have to meet him halfway. Yes. Yeah. And I have asked Corey, I said, why did you wait for me when I went back to try to work it out with my ex? And he said, because I knew if you were that miserable and you would still try again, that you took marriage very serious and that you were who I wanted. So that was kind of weird. Well, he's at work, and I think he probably forgot I was live tonight because he tries to go on and listen what he can while he's at work, but I'm not always live on Mondays, so oh, Becky, thank you. Yeah, he pursued me hard, and when he asked me to marry him, I said no. So he asked me the next day, and he asked me the next day, and he asked me the next day, and he did that for 2 weeks. And then I said, okay, I will. But then I was really scared. So our wedding cake had been ordered and I kept canceling our wedding. So my mother in law, like, she really needs a medal for this. She kept calling and reordering and canceling and reordering our wedding cake over and over on repeat. But finally, I knew Seriously, it was okay. Like, I needed to just stop panicking and do it. Yeah. And what's even funnier is he was raised by his grandmother who could never make up her mind about anything. She'd go down to Walmart and she'd go shopping. The next day, she'd go down to Walmart and return everything she bought. And just everything was that way in her life. And he said, "Well, I mean, I just figured you were going to be like my grandmother." He said, "It didn't shake me up at all when you kept canceling and rescheduling the wedding." Oh my goodness. Yeah, I never thought I would tell any of that on YouTube, but here I sit blabbing it all right out. Oh goodness. And Maria has an interesting story about her and her husband too. I love hers. And Becky's is pretty good too. Okay, guys, I've told you all I can tell you for tonight. Unless anybody has anything they want to tell me, I'm going to end the live. Thank you for sharing. Maria, had you heard that before? You must have heard that before. Love it. Gives such hope. I guess. Yeah, it does, really. What I love is I was always raised that you cannot be divorced. And I don't think being divorced is ideal, but this was a very bad relationship. And the fact that God gave me forgiveness and He gave me grace and He gave me a fresh start is unbelievable. Like, He understood that at 18, I had no clue what I was doing. And, you know, it's just amazing to me how wonderful our God is. No matter what the topic is, our God is wonderful. Uh, Hi, Rich. I have kept him 38 years worth the chase. Yeah, he was worth the chase, wasn't he? You did remember the messaging on MSN. I might not have told you that part because I might have thought you would have been like, "What is MSN?" We need a story time, Becky. They're asking for you to tell them your story now, Becky. That's up to you if you're gonna. The biggest thing I can say about marriage, it'll be 22 years for Corey and I in March, is grace. Just like God gives us grace. I'm not perfect. He's not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. He knows he's not perfect. We love each other in spite of it, and we try to put each other first. Oh my goodness. If Becky comes to Maine, the first thing we're doing is landing at your house for a cheesecake or a carrot cake or something. So you better be ready. Yes, our internet connection was dial up and we both was new to even using a computer. We both grew up rural in the same state, but different towns, different counties. And we learned in school how to type and stuff on an electric typewriter. So my dad had bought a computer and Corey had bought a computer, but it was like our first experience with computers. That's why it was like so exciting to be trying out chat rooms and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, Becky. Becky did chase Johnny very, very hard and she won. Okay, now you guys are going to laugh. I had dial up like up until maybe 10 years ago. We just didn't have a lot of options out where I live as far as good internet. Yeah, definitely, Becky. If you come to Maine, we are definitely going to be having some time with Zach and Maria for sure. I only get to see Zach and Maria about once a year because even though they're in my state, they're several hours away from me and our schedules don't usually line up, but it's always so much fun. I would be there in seconds. Yep. When Becky comes, she's got to cook us a Southern meal. I'm always telling Becky that I love her cooking, and my family's always laughing, saying, "You haven't had her cooking," but I think I have because she talks me through these Southern recipes, and I kinda get made what I think is exactly the way she makes it. Dodo says, "One of these days, we could chat about how a rural upbringing or a more modest upbringing helps us to be resourceful, creative, and thankful." That's a good topic. Were you raised rural also, Dono? It's got to happen. I love that family. Thank you, Becky. Um, Tell the double lunch Corey used to by going in the woods, old two Italians. Okay. So Maria's husband, Zach, worked with my husband, and we knew Zach first. He's Hammy 2022 on here. And he used to come over to the house all the time, and he used to live near us, and we just soon have him for every meal. We loved having him. So, anyhow, I always pack Corey a lunch, but what I didn't know was that not only was he always eating the lunch I packed him, but he was stopping at the store and getting an additional lunch. So he was eating two lunches a day, but he wasn't ever telling me that until Zach started tattling on him. And, I want Corey to be healthy, but Zach would tattle on him. And he has this one story he likes to tell about Corey when him and Corey headed someplace on a day off and they stopped to the store and Corey bought so much junk from the store that he had Zach's entire dash full like a buffet. And Corey is going to kill me, Zach, if he watches this live. So ever since, Corey has gotten the nickname Two Italians. Oh my goodness. Okay. Chicken fried spam. Yes, Becky makes chicken fried spam and it's very good if you like spam. Once again, I haven't had hers, but I've made what I think is hers. Tell about the aluminum foil in bulk. Okay, I buy pre-cut aluminum foil, 6 packages to a time because I make so many sandwiches for my husband and son's lunch. But it's not so funny anymore because my husband has lost 75 pounds, and the only thing he's done different is work the night shift so he can't stop at convenience stores and drink a lot of water. Dodo says, yes, on a small farm where I learned everything I know just by watching my grandparents and parents doing the chores around the house. Oh, that's awesome. That's really awesome. I didn't grow up on a farm, but my great grandparents had a dairy and potato farm. And I learned so much from my great grandmother. And they didn't even have the farm anymore by the time I was a kid. But those values and that lifestyle and stuff, they were still, doing everything themselves and stuff like that. And she just taught me so much. Helena M. Hello. Hi, Helena. I had an aunt, one of my favorite aunts, whose name was Helena Mitchell. So every time I see your name, it makes me think about my aunt. Becky, did you grow up on a farm? I know you have a farm now, but I don't know why I never thought to ask you if you grew up on one. And Maria's tied in with farming. Her grampy. That's awesome, Becky. Totally awesome. So, Helena, you missed my story about how I met my husband. They got me to tell that tonight. And you missed at least part of me telling about my husband's bad eating habits that Hammy 2022 got me to share. Dono says, I was born in Brazil, moved to Florida when I was 25, worked at Walt Disney World for 8 years, and decided to come down to Brazil and settle in a more rural living again, back to my roots. Oh, that is so cool. Florida and Disney World would have definitely been different for you. I think everybody loves to go back to where they came from. I know I love to be up where my grandmother's at. It's just like wonderful. So, do you have farm animals and stuff, Dono? I don't do farm animals anymore. The feed got to be too much. My neighbor's dogs ate my chickens. I have a hernia now, so I shouldn't really be doing too much of that work. And I don't want to see a doctor about it until it gets bad enough because I'm kind of anti-doctor. I haven't been to a doctor in 10 plus years. Becky has animals. And Rebecca from Cozy Cottage Homestead definitely has quite a few animals. A lot of people consider me a homesteader, but I really don't have any animals anymore other than Sloopy. Oh, that's a good question. How was working at Disney? I've never even been to Disney. I've never been to Florida either. I've been to a lot of different states, but never Florida. And a bunch of kids. Yes. Becky always has kids over there. Speaking of kids, Becky, how is the little boy doing that got kicked by the horse? Yes, very different. I found it really hectic and I didn't like the work pressure. My managers wanted me to always prioritize work instead of my physical exhaust. Maybe I'm a lazy person. No, I don't think so. I hear this all the time from people that the work pressures are just outrageous. I think honestly, God planned for us to do more of the rural kind of work, to be home near our families and working that way. Um, I haven't worked out of the house since I married Corey. That was one of the things that we agreed on before we got married, and nothing against people that can do it, but I'm right out straight here. I really cannot imagine what it must be like to try to do both. Like if I had to work, I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things the way that I do them. Oh, you went when you were 4 or 5 to Disney World, Maria. That's neat. 1 week is enough to enjoy. I don't do crowds very well. I don't even like to go to the grocery store. Oh, I bet he's having a hard time to eat. I didn't think about that. That's terrible that that happened to him. Well, okay, guys, we are almost at the 1 hour point. I'm gonna wrap it up and end the live. I know I've been saying that, but I really am. Rich says, hello, off topic. I'm using my new Maytag washer and really happy with it. Thank you for your video explaining it. Oh, Rich, I'm so glad. Um, Mine is over 3 years old at this point, and it's still working great, and it's used very hard here. Lots of real heavy duty work clothes and sweatshirts and overalls and stuff like that going through it all the time. I was so long picking a washing machine that when I did, I wanted to be able to share that with everybody. Oh, Johnny says that sounds right with the truck and sounds like Corey knows his business. Let's hope he knows his business. No, Corey's a good mechanic. He always gets the stuff figured out. I'm very thankful for that. Oh, Maria, I'm glad you loved it because you requested it. Oh, Dono, I'm glad you liked my story. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye.